Camber House.
Give me my respect.
Welcome to Camber House.
You're now rocking with the best.
Join your hosts, Jeremy and James, as they take an unfiltered and uncensored look at the car industry and motorsport across the globe.
You can't find the right tool in this garage, you don't belong near a car.
Welcome to the home of car culture.
All right, ladies and gents, we are back. Camber House, the home of motorsport in the Caribbean, #1 podcast. Jeremy in the studio, as always, the washing wizard of YouTube, if you don't know. And today, super excited to have a returning guest on, the one and only, the boy from Barbados, carrying the flag for all of us, living the dream for all of us.
Living the dream for sure.
Yeah. Zane Maloney. Zane, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good. Good.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. You, obviously, it's been, last time you were on, I think you were in the middle or in the beginning of Formula Open, right? Open Formula.
Yeah.
Right. So, to get started,
Let's start at the
we'll start there.
The end?
Yeah.
No, start
back. All right, we're going back. I think, having watched a lot of it, well, I'm going to let you talk about it, but I guess there were some struggles you had last year. Tell me how it was for you, and what kind of, was it the car itself, the team? I know you made a lot of changes, which we'll go into, but how did you find your time there?
Well, I think I came second. I think it was I came here.
Yeah.
And it kind of went downhill after that.
Was there any reason?
Yeah, well, Carlin, it was their second or third year in the championship.
Right.
And they had other teams that were in it from the beginning.
Like the crypto, that whole team seems like their cars are ridiculous.
Yeah, well, Motorpark is the name of the team, and they had so many drivers that wanted to be with them that they had to create another team. Because you're not allowed to have more than 3 cars.
Right.
So they created another team with 6 cars, but they're all sharing data. They're all, it's one team.
So it's like a,
So they were pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the championship. So it was just impossible to compete. A lot of it was from my side still, just not being technical enough and still not having the experience in a quick car, because it was a massive jump that we did.
From F4 into...
Yeah, because what you would usually, most people do 2 years in F4.
Right.
So we jumped straight up, and it was tough, but...
What was, it was just because obviously the car has a lot more, I guess, setup ability. Like, is that was what was hard? And I guess it's also just a lot faster and just more car.
Yeah, well, the main thing was in F4, not everyone's a rookie, but everyone's within their first few years of driving a car. Mm-hmm. And so it more came on natural talent and a bit of technical ability, but more just getting in the car, see how quick you can be, and you're always going to be quick if you have lots of talent. And whereas the Euro Formula, it's more going through the data, so much more technical stuff. Small setup changes make a lot bigger difference, like a hole of front wing makes a massive difference in Euro Formula, where it doesn't make much in F4 just because there's so much more
driver input.
Yeah, so much more input that the team can do into the car. And we went into the year we went to Euro Formula to learn how to develop a car and set up a car and for the F2 and F1 eventually, but it turned out that none of the F1 drivers even have any say in what the car in the setup of the car. The team listens to them and doesn't care what they say. They do what they want because they have so much technology and data that the driver doesn't really have much into input. It. So we went towards that way and changing the car a lot to try to get little bits where we should have just left it.
I was going to say, that must be tough for you too, because you could never kind of settle in, because every time you make a change, you get in the car and something's different.
Yeah, well, we started off on the back foot, so the main focus was try to get the car better, whereas we should have just left it at a baseline and moved and worked from there. We ended up getting quite lost throughout the season, just changing stuff here and there, which makes a massive difference. Okay. And you never really get it back once you start fiddling with stuff.
Yeah.
Right, understood. And I think at the same time, you had changed management during the season?
3/4 way, yeah.
Right. And was it just you got a better offer? You like what you saw from, I think it's ad management, right, that you're with now?
Yeah.
Right. How did that come about?
So I was with Kokoro Performance,
right,
and we kind of both my dad, me, and Coco Performance went into the season with the same mindset of developing a car, and it definitely wasn't working. So ADD was managing my teammate, so they were always at the track, and I just saw the way that they worked was a bit different and more stern with the driver, be focused on the driver, and let the team do what they need to do. Whereas the mindset that we went into it was focus more on what the team's doing, not so much. So my driving kind of it didn't develop as it should have, because we were too focused on the car. So Kokoro did a great job, definitely got me to where I am today, but it was a good move to go to ADD, because they've gone up all the way to F1 with Lando,
right.
And come back down all the way to karting with some good guys as well. So it was a good choice.
That was a good choice. Okay.
And did they play a role in your decision to? I mean, at what point in the season, in the I'm getting confused with all these names now. Formula Euro.
Yeah.
At what point in the season were you trying to figure out what you were going to do this year, or did you know already that? Like, in other words, when did the Formula Alpine come into the discussion, or when did you start to think about where you're going to go from there?
The second ADD came on.
Right. Yeah. So they were influential in kind of saying, we think this is a good direction for you to go.
Yeah, for sure. Because, all their drivers, they have Formula E drivers, Formula One drivers, in Japan, Super Formula. So they've been to all the different teams.
Okay.
So they have insides on the teams. So
Okay.
straight away when they came in, let's get straight to the best team and talk to them. So I tested with my team now, RASGP. I tested with Prema.
Yeah.
I tested with many other teams, just because they know so much about the sport and they have an inside scoop on what's going on, that they can get you with better teams, with, let's say, for less money or for someone who maybe shouldn't be in those teams.
Right. Understood. I don't want to put you totally on the spot here, even though I'm probably going to. Obviously, I don't know if it's a decision to move away from Carlin for this season, especially given the fact that there was a FIA F3 seat available, because I know your teammate from last year took it, who I think you were pretty much faster than most of this, like the whole season. So walk me through, was it just this is what you wanted to do with your team, your management, that you wanted to do this, or was it like, how do you make that decision, or was it never offered? How does that work?
Well, the seat at Carlin is always going to be there.
Right. Okay.
We still have a great relationship with Trevor Carlin.
Right.
So that's always going to be there if I do the right job. And it wasn't a good idea to move to FIA F3 with Carlin, because they're clearly not the quickest team, and it's easier to mess your career up by going too early than going too late.
Right.
I think that's really important for people to hear that.
Yeah, and I could easily be an F2 right now or FIA F3, but it'd probably ruin my career. And with COVID now, it's a lot harder to get to a top team in F2, F3, FIA F3. So the best option was to do this year with a good team, try to win the championship, and then any team offer would be there after that.
I think that's pretty amazing, because I think it's something that we've debated a couple times, is, the proper route to get to. People always think you should, go from F4 straight to F3 to F2. Like, there's different
avenues,
because you don't want to go into a shit.
No,
and then
as you said, and you don't want to go too early,
right?
And then you struggle,
right?
As you climb into F3 or F2, the same thing that happened to you in Formula Euro is just going to be magnified in those series.
A lot is timing, because you look at some people who are in F2 and you pretty much get 2 years at the most, and then if you don't have a drive, they're not really keeping you around.
Yeah, you're going to DTM,
right? Or you're going to Indy, or you're doing what?
Something.
So I guess timing is such a massive part.
It's everything.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and especially with COVID, it's just going up too early. It makes it so much worse nowadays. Because doing 2 years and everything, you see, like, let's say Lando and Lewis and those guys, back in the day, it was that go F4, F3, F2, F1.
As quick as possible.
Whereas now, there's so many more billionaires in the sport, and you can't do anything about it.
No.
So they're going to take the F1 seats. And if you look now, there were 3 or 4 rookies this year.
Yeah.
So there's not any F1 seats available for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And if you're in a, like, Callum Ilott,
I know, he's phenomenal.
He got completely messed up because he was there at the worst time.
He's a Ferrari Academy driver, and obviously Mick's going to be their next seat, obviously, if it pans out for him. But Callum's got like
tons of talent,
so much talent.
Yeah.
And Robert Schwartzman too is like arguably to me probably the best up and coming.
But these paid seats are creating a bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, he was there. Like, he was at the top at the worst time possible because you have Mazepin, who's a billionaire. You have Schumacher,
who shouldn't be in a car, by the way.
You have Schumacher, who's going to get there no matter what.
Yeah, because he has the money behind him. They have the money, and he has the name.
There's no second chance. So his F1 career is finished.
Yeah.
And then if you look at Nick De Vries the year before, he's done Formula E, even though he won the F2 championship. So it's kind of, you have to be with the right people who know the F1 paddock at the right time. Is everything.
Yeah, shit. That's crazy.
So, right, you touched on, you tested with multiple teams, Prima, Arden, you said. How did the decision to do, I know, is it race or R-Race?
R-Race.
I
say R-Race.
R-Race GP, right.
I think it's R-Race.
Right. Who I think have a good track record in the championship, right?
Yeah.
And how did that all play out? How was the testing? I see you did some testing with Lando and stuff again this time around.
Yeah, well, this is the first time that I was fighting for a seat. So depending on how good I did in testing, I was fighting for the seat. There was 6 or 7 of us at 6 different days of testing.
Right.
And obviously,
Where did you test?
Portimao.
I
think it was. And
how's that?
It's amazing.
Yeah, that
it's
track
a nice
looks
track
sick.
for sure.
We keep saying that's the one track.
It's my favorite when they brought that in last year.
Yeah.
I mean, MotoGP rides there a lot, but I thought it was just such a sick addition to the calendar.
It's a nice track.
How does the undulation feel?
Not as much as somewhere like Spa,
right?
But it's a lot more. Like every corner has a bit of it, so it's a nice track to be at for sure.
So what was that testing weekend like? Or weekends? I don't know how many times.
Yeah, well, I wasn't used to fighting for a seat because the seat was always there at Carlin for me if I did good. So going to another team, especially a French team who they don't really care about you from Barbados. So it was tough. I didn't really think of it like I was fighting for a seat because then it just goes downhill from there. So I just went out, test and go as quick as I can and see from there. And straight away after the first test, he said that I had a seat. So it was good.
Right. How did the
what can I ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think last year was a Dallara. She's sick. Different. It's a different car than last year.
Yeah.
So it's totally different.
Yeah, it's not a Dallara, it's a Tatis now, and so the Formula Regional, they had Formula Regional last year and Formula Renault, and now the two of them have come together. So it's the Formula Renault car, Formula Renault engine with the Pirelli tires, which the Formula Regional were running.
Okay.
So is it similar to like an F3 chassis wise, or not really?
Yeah, well, it
is.
Yeah, just a little bit less power than F3, and not much difference actually. It's more towards the heavy side of things. So like FIF3, FIF2, they're all heavy cars now. Mm-hmm. So the Euro Formula was more nimble, a lot quicker in corners than an F2 car even.
Wow.
Whereas this is more towards the driving style and how the F3 and F2 cars feel.
Okay. And what was it like when you first got in it? Like when you were testing and driving it compared to what you were coming out of?
Yeah, it felt like a boat.
Did it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Less 20 kilometers less in every corner. Same top speed, but yeah, the braking 20 meters earlier.
Really?
A big difference. Yeah, the Euro Formula car, other than an F2 and F1 car, was the quickest car in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even in some tracks, it was nearly as quick as an F2 car.
Does that make it easier for you or harder?
I think it's
to get into a car that's, well, in quotes, slower.
Yeah, it's harder.
It's harder.
It's a lot harder. Yeah, stepping down, like you say, in the speed of the car is definitely tougher.
Tough.
Like every track that
Are you more prone to overdrive?
I always have been. Not overdrive, but I'm always a late breaker, so I've always been on the edge mid corner and not on the exit. So always on the entry and mid corner. I've been on the edge, which helped me in F4. Mm-hmm. Maybe not in Euro Formula because you just needed to carry loads of speed. That was the main thing in Euro Formula. But it was tough straight away. Every track that I had been in the Euro Formula, I was really still at straight away in the regional car because I was just braking too late for what the car could do.
Interesting.
Right.
But after time, you just learn how to step
Dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, so now I'm in groove with the car now.
Yeah.
Cool. What next?
You want to jump to the first race weekend?
No, but before that, right? I think I've read that. I mean, it's like 32 cars in the field or something.
It's humongous. Yes, it's insane. It looks like a friggin' NASCAR when you guys started so many cars.
Yeah. And as the commentator, I can't remember who it is, but he was saying how a lot of people will know each other from karting days. Is there? I mean, out of the field, there's a lot of people that you have raced against.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Hadrian David, I raced, my teammate.
Yeah.
Paul Aron was my teammate in RFM in karting. Pretty much 20 guys. I've either been one like in seniors when they're in juniors or raced against them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what's the paddock like with these groups of guys? Is it?
I don't talk to
intense?
anyone.
No, it's the same thing. You just don't talk.
Yeah, well now I'm friends, let's say, with my teammates.
Right.
Not friends, but acquaintances with my teammates. And yeah, we can have a bit of a joke or two, but no one else really. I'd say
so
hi
the weekends are pretty lonely.
Yeah, they are. I'd say hi to a few guys, but it's more just stick to your own thing.
Helmet on and do the work.
Yeah.
Speaking of helmet, nice gear for this year, by the way.
Sickest helmet by far.
Crazy, yeah.
I love it.
Which gets me into sponsorship, I guess, because I know you're sponsored by Alpine Stars. Is the sponsorship side of motorsport, especially at your level, how hard is it right now? I mean, I think you have a lot of good relationships with people. Is it the tough part right now?
It's tough for someone like Alpine Stars. If you do good, you're always going to stay with them once you get in.
Right.
But like, they've cut down on a few stuff.
Right.
I'm not getting 6-7 pairs of boots. I'm now getting 2 or 3.
Right.
So yeah, it is tough, but Alpine Stars, it's a massive company, so they can still do certain stuff that some companies may not be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take it into the first race?
Yeah. You had a pretty interesting first race weekend.
Well, how was qualifying first for you? How was the setup and going into quali?
Yeah, well, it was good. It was refreshing to just focus on my driving and not really have to focus on a car.
Okay.
So straight away, we were struggling a little bit in testing, but I think it was more still the braking too late part. Race weekend came and the motivation was there, and straight away we were quick. So it was kind of just fine-tuning certain stuff, and qualifying was good. The main problem with the 32 cars is it's just impossible to find
space.
Yeah, because in these cars, even more than F1, you can't overtake. So in qualifying, you want to be 5 or 6 seconds back, because 4 or 5 seconds, you still get dirty air.
Right.
And there's not 5 or 6 seconds for 32 cars.
Yeah.
So I got quite lucky not lucky. I had like 20-second space. There was a whole group of cars on the other side of the track, and I found 20-second space, so I could just
you had a nice clean lane
the entire time. Yeah, because at Imola we were just pushing 7 or 8 laps. The tires were just getting better and better. So it was good to just keep going and not have to back off because of traffic.
How are the Pirellis compared to what you were like? Because you weren't using these same tires when you were in Formula Euro, right?
No, they're tough, but towards the same thing. You have to be really smooth with it on the warm up. If you have a slide on during a warm up lap, it'll
kill them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
If whatever balance, like if you have a bit of a slide on the warm up lap, or if you overslip the fronts a bit, that's the balance that you're gonna have for qualifying. You're gonna have oversteer for qualifying.
Well, so you really have to be careful until they get up, and
you're just cruising on the formation on the warm up laps.
Jeez,
it's tough. Most of the when we go into detail about stuff, most of it is tire prep.
Really,
like it goes so far that you weave here, you brake here. So the driver,
you mean like specific points on the track that tell you weave here, brake here,
to get heat into the tires.
Yeah, and it's a program that you like. I'm literally like a robot,
just following instructions.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I was trying to think of, I can't remember how it was qualifying one for the race on the same day, and then, no, I can't remember how
it was qualifying 1 and 2.
Was race 2. Qualifying 1 was for race
2, and then qualifying 2.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know, right? That was what I was trying
I only
to
knew that after quali 1. I only realized that I'm starting the race from quali 2.
Yeah, it is weird. Why do they do it like that?
No idea. I never even knew until after qualifying.
Because you qualified, right, on the second day in, what was it, 5th, 4th? Can't remember what you were.
No, I qualified. Qualifying 1, 4th.
Right, 4th.
And qualifying 2, 10th.
Right.
And then, but it was.
And is that the difference there is mainly because you have like track, how clear the track was.
Well, everyone's crazy. The 15 guys can qualify on pole in this championship. it's
tight.
It's close.
Yeah.
Right.
Very close.
Well, you see it in the race.
I know.
I mean,
And then you broke all hearts in Barbados on the start line for.
Yeah, what
so,
happened?
so tell us
is
what
that is
happened.
that user error or is it just one of these things like bad luck?
No, it is user error. The clutch is completely different to the ones in Euroformula. The ones in
Right.
Euroformula you can preload. I don't know if how to explain preload too well.
Okay.
But you can load the clutch up, and it wants to move and use a bit of brake, and then
To hold it and then launch.
for the launch.
Right.
But in these cars, if you do that,
It just burns the clutch.
yeah, completely burns the clutch. So from the whole weekend, I didn't go into enough detail about that, and I was kind of staying in first gear instead of going to neutral whenever I stopped
And you
for
had-
5 seconds and stuff like that, which was just overheating the clutch the whole weekend. And then I preloaded just a little bit on the start, maybe a little bit too excited, and then
it
went off the start and straight away.
I just gave up.
I had
Nothing.
It was completely obliterated.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you have radio to your team?
Yep.
Okay, so they just come over and like,
No, well, I came on the radio straight away, and I was screaming like the stupid clutch, and then so I had to pull over, and they had no idea that I was out the race, because with the F1 they're on the pit garages of the F1,
Yeah.
and it's so like all the F1 guys keep their stuff really
locked tight.
yeah,
You can't,
so they have no
screen
they have,
or
no.
they couldn't see.
oh shit! So they had no idea.
They saw what you guys saw, the live stream.
Right.
Because with the F1 guys, of course, can see where every dot is on the track and everything.
Telemetry and all that.
Yeah, but they take that away for us, so it's really tough for
that's
them
annoying.
to. Yeah. So he had no idea until I pulled over and the camera showed me pulling over, but by then I yanked the radio out and I was out the car.
How did they take it when you got back? Or it was just like, right, move on to the next one?
Yeah, I was kind of look at the data, see what I did wrong, and move on. There's
So
no
was it
point.
not a case where, just out of curiosity, like over the weekend, if you had always been kind of, I guess, treating the clutch in the way you shouldn't have, but they didn't pick it up in the data earlier and say, Zane, you need to stop doing this? Or it doesn't, you don't really kind of...
No, those are simple. Those are
Right.
very, very simple stuff for the driver to know. Once you know it, you know it.
You
I
just had to
didn't
learn
know
it the hard way.
I just didn't know it. Yeah.
There you go.
Did somebody do it in front of you in the second race? Because, you had to go around somebody, right?
Yeah, that was my teammate. He just.
So he smoked his clutch in the second race?
No, I think he just stalled.
Oh.
Because it's really.
Are they hard to launch?
Yeah, very, very hard. So there's kind of a procedure. Again, just like the tires, full throttle, no preload, and then so there's a big gap from where the biting point is to the clutch.
Yeah.
So that initial, you have to really
So you
be
kinda-
aggressive.
oh, okay.
So it's quite easy to stall it straight away.
Interesting.
When you're too aggressive, just because you can't preload, so you have to keep a margin, and once you come off, so there's kind of like 3 phases. You're off,
And
and
then
you have
just-
to wait each time as well. So it's tough.
And
to
your
get
foot is down,
used
you're
to.
just pinned and just
And you
managing
still-
the clutch.
But you also have to manage the throttle.
If not, then you just sit there and spin your
Wheel
wheels.
spin, yeah. You have to
Shit,
manage
man.
everything. It's
You
tough.
practice that, or I guess you can't really?
Well, in the Euroformula, we practice. We would do 6 or 7 starts a day, just because the clutch could hold it. Whereas with this, I only did 3 starts before the event.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So this just requires some more time.
yeah,
Yeah.
But once you get the
But you
procedure,
got off good on the second race.
yeah. Once I had the procedure, then it's easy
fine.
to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, you did certainly well in the second race.
Yeah, it
Great
was a
job.
good start.
B3,
Yeah.
how did it feel? In Imola?
It felt very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
bet.
just I would have been happy with the P4 going into the race, just get some points on the board and not start like we finished last year. but yeah, it was good to get third. I probably maybe could have gone in second, but I didn't risk it because we could have crashed easily in turn 1
Yeah.
at the start.
Right.
I was around the outside of him, and I just backed out because it was my teammate from
I thought you
RFM,
were-
and I knew he would have crashed into me as well. So
Right.
I just
You just
When I
let
saw
it-
you line up that move, I was like, look at this fucker going on the outside.
yeah. Well, when I went, I tried it, and then I saw that he didn't even just come off the brake. He went
He
back
was
on
just
throttle.
going straight on,
So
yeah.
he was going to crash into me for sure. And then we
Better
probably...
to save the car,
Yeah.
get some points,
Definitely.
and you got a podium, so...
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I was sick.
How did it feel being on a F1 calendar race? What was it like? Was there any difference to what you've done before?
Yeah, it was a bit different. Everything was within a second, obviously
Right.
on the second. We were like qualifying and stuff. We were in front of the F1 pits, which was quite cool. But other than that, it was like I was watching the F1 from my phone.
Yeah.
Just because it makes no sense walking and just watching them go down straight.
Right.
So it was like I was at the track hearing the cars go by and still watching it on
your phone.
On my phone.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
Did you have any interaction or anything? Is there anything that they allow for you to?
No. So well once there's 2 paddocks. So there's the F1 paddock and then our paddock, and the F1 guys can't come in our paddock. We can't go in theirs just because COVID and stuff.
Right.
So no interaction. Only when I burnt the clutch. The motorbike took me through the F1 paddock, but that's about it.
I like it.
I mean, it's pretty cool though. Did you enjoy Imola, like as a track?
Yeah, it's not
Have
my.
you driven there before?
Yeah, I drove there in. When did I drive there? I just tested there. So the first time was the official test. Yeah.
Okay.
Not my favorite track, but it's quite nice.
Yeah.
It's a real driver's track. No overtaking, which sucks quite a lot. But other than that, in a qualifying lap, it's cool.
Do you reckon with the tracks you guys have lined up for this year, is it gonna be is overtaking gonna be a consistent challenge, or do you think it's somewhere like Barcelona? Because I mean,
no, Barcelona's impossible.
It's gonna be worse.
Impossible.
And Monaco is going to be impossible.
Yeah, Monaco impossible for sure, but Barcelona, even in the Euro Formula race, it was not possible to overtake, and these cars are a lot worse.
Right.
So whoever qualifies pole and gets into turn 1.
So qualifying is key. You just need to qualify make it through turn 1 and drive.
Once you're in the lead in turn 1, you won the race. You've won, because they took out turn 10 used to be a hairpin, and now they've made it like a third gear faster corner. So
right.
That
so
was
there's no big braking zones or nothing really.
That was the only spot that you could overtake.
Are there any team strategies when it comes to qualifying in terms of getting your teammates space and reciprocating it back to you, or none of that? It's just go out there.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be doing that anyways.
I like honesty.
Sorry guys, your radio's broken. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, well, one time in the second qualifying, there was a red flag. No, the first qualifying, there was a red flag, and we went out with 1.5 minutes on the clock, or 2 minutes, and like the lap was 1 minute 45. So we had 15 seconds to get around, and we were like 6, 7, and 8 the team, and I was 7, so I was in between my 2 teammates, and everyone started backing us up in the last sector to make us miss.
Right.
So I went past my teammate.
Make sure you got to cross that line.
Yeah, I overtook him and backed him up more. And he came in. He was like, "Why did you back me up?" So I said, "If you're paying for my racing, you can come and talk to me."
Yes.
So the team doesn't get involved in that sort of stuff, or I guess they.
No, what if you did something like to really mess him up?
Then you would. Yeah,
but in a situation like that, it's everyone fend for yourself.
Right, you just got to be smart and
do what
you need to do.
He let me pass. Like, he didn't defend from me, so it's his problem, not mine. So the team had nothing to do with that.
Right.
But some stuff, if I'm slowing down on his qualifying lap and messing him up, of course I'll get in some trouble. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's so funny.
Is there a track this year that you are most looking forward to the most?
Probably Monaco.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick, huh?
Yeah.
Have you driven like Formula 1 2020 like constantly on like?
No, I actually haven't.
You're right. Have you simmed it?
No.
Will you get to?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's. We might get a day or two on the sim, but yeah, no one's ever been there in the series. No, because they didn't do it last year because of COVID.
Right.
And there's either 2 there's only drivers in the second year, not the third year.
Right.
So yeah, everyone's new to Monaco.
Dude, that's gonna be sick though.
32 cars. It's not.
I don't know how they're gonna do that. That seems like too many cars for that little track.
Yeah, well, I heard at the start of the year they were planning on, for all the rounds, doing 2 qualifying sessions, but they didn't do it in Imola. I'm not sure if they'll do it in Monaco.
So like split the field and let it makes way more sense.
Imagine 32 cars trying to qualify in Monaco. How are you even gonna? What's the point?
It'll be impossible.
It's just a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would literally just be a train. Even race is gonna be chaos.
Or you just do. You know what they should bring back, like the shootout, where you just get 1 lap. You gotta dial it in and
that's
what
lap. Formula E do.
Right.
Yeah.
And Formula 1 used to do it back in the day. Yeah. 1 lap. Go.
Yeah.
That's when they used to like put like they had like a turn up mode in all the cars, and the cars would literally last for 1 lap, and they'd be like savage, and then pull into the pits and blow up. That would be sick. Yeah, Monaco will be epic though. It's unfortunate, I guess, with COVID, like you won't get the full kind of Monaco experience weekend.
No, yeah.
But still, like being able to drive such an iconic track.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be crazy.
But fans are coming back soon, right? I don't
know what the deal is.
The F1 people just sent me Austin tickets.
Yeah, but the US is different, dude. They don't care about COVID.
Yeah, they don't.
They're like, everyone come just get COVID.
Yeah.
Let's just all get COVID together. Europe is a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Let's maybe not have COVID again.
Yeah. I think by Monaco it should be okay. We're already
maybe
planning
have like
on
limited fans
certain
and stuff.
restaurants and stuff, so I think it might be half okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the one you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah, cool.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Monaco. Yeah, Monaco's going to be sick. It's all about qualifying, of course. I don't think we will get more than 2 or 3 racing laps with the amount of crashes.
Do you think it'll just crash constantly?
Coming into FRECA, as they call it, what goal is obviously to win the championship. I don't even need to ask you that. But realistically, is this what stepping stone would come next? Would you side cross to FAF3 after this? What kind of what would be ideal for you after this?
Well, the thing that I learned last year is we were looking too far
ahead,
straight away, too far forward. So when we started Euro Formula, we were already focused on the next step, when you need to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't thought about what's next at all. I know Gianluca Pedikov, who did Formula Regional, so did the same thing as I'm doing this year. He went straight to F2 this year, but he's struggling quite a lot. And then a lot of the guys went FIF3, so it's either FIF3 or F2. I don't plan on doing 2 years in this championship because I'm already... Euro Formula was not a waste of a year, but it kind of was. We didn't really learn too much because we had the wrong mindset and we didn't get results. So we need to be on top of it now and get step forward quickly.
So Barcelona is coming up next weekend.
Yeah.
Is a track that you like?
Yeah. I do like Barcelona, yeah.
Okay. And goals obviously is to qualify as high as possible.
Yeah, well, in this, it's not about winning every race because I don't think anyone will. There's too many guys at the front for someone to win every race. So it's just about being in the top 5 all season.
Right.
And if you keep doing that, then you will be up there in the championship. So yeah, top 5 in every race, and I'm fine. But obviously, of course, I want wins and podiums. And once we keep working how we should be good for them and be up there all season.
Okay.
And you'll just turn up at Barcelona to practice and drive, or you don't do any? You're not going to do any sim work and stuff before you?
I will. So I'm going traveling Sunday to England and then connecting straight over to Valencia. 12 hours on sim. It's crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah. These French guys, they
12
they do
hours?
sim. Yeah.
As in, you'll drive Barcelona for 12 hours on your sim?
Well, 7 a.m., 6 a.m. wake up, drive to the simulator at 7, and then it's 3 of us. So it's back to back, like we do a whole race weekend. Sometimes 2 race weekends that day,
right?
Before we even go to the track. So it's a lot of sim.
Wow.
Obviously, there's a new team for you. It's a French team. What is it? What are the differences between like what you did with Kyle, and is it very different? Is it similar?
Yeah, it is very different. It's just everything about it is completely different. I was always used to an English team, being here in Barbados, speaking English, to then go to a French team where they're speaking English to you, but anytime they're not speaking to you,
they're speaking in French.
And you're like, what are you saying? And so sometimes I have to, they've gotten better with it, because I asked them to, once we're in the debriefs and talking about racing, talk English, please. So they're getting better at it, but sometimes they're telling the drivers what to do in French, and I'm just like, well, I don't know what you're saying. So
but yeah, the 2 other drivers are both French.
Yeah, the whole team except for me is French.
Except you.
I'm the only English person.
That must feel.
Yeah, that has to be weird. That has to be weird.
That has to feel kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely.
So even your engineer is French? Like when he's speaking?
But he's the most, I don't want to say the most English person, but he's the least French accent.
Right.
The most English accent, and he can speak the English the best. They can all speak good enough English to have a full conversation. But I got the right engineer for sure. I can understand him more than any of the others.
Cool.
But it's all a French team, and it gets quite tough when
French team,
when
French drivers, and one Barbadian.
One
I know.
I mean, that's strange.
There's no way they're gonna let you win, buddy.
So I know, right? After you bang out all those sim hours, you'll then fly from Valencia to.
Well, that's the thing with French teams as well. They're driving. So I'm flying from here to England to Valencia. They're driving from France to Valencia in 10 hours. So they drive everywhere.
So then you'll drive.
So I have
them to
4.5 hours to Barcelona. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why I've kind of, at the start, I was traveling with them, and it's just being in a car for 10 hours 2 days before you're racing is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of traveling on my own now, and not driving with them.
Well, your family or anybody go with you, or you're just alone?
On my own. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, as of right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
I guess because of COVID and stuff, they can't, right?
No, yeah. So I'm not sure if any of my, like my dad will have to quarantine for 5 days when he comes back here. So now it makes no sense.
Yeah. But would he even be able to travel up to England with you now?
Well, my coach travels. My coach and my manager travel with me.
Okay.
So I think my dad would be able to, but
right.
I already have them there, so
you're fine.
He's fine, yeah, and I'm fine, yeah.
Jeez, man, this COVID thing can't come to an end soon enough.
Run me through, Zane. Run me through like the average, because you qualify on Friday. No, everything's Saturday, right? Run me through Saturdays of how you wake up in the morning. What run me through exactly your schedule of what it's like to be a racing driver in F3.
Well, every weekend's
Not
different
F3.
now.
I know. I mean, you know what I mean. FRECA.
Every weekend's different. So actually, this weekend coming up, we have practice on Thursday, qualifying on Friday, and then so it starts on Friday now. Because of F1, they choose what we do. But
so you'll race Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and Sunday. So
Yeah,
one race Saturday, one race
Oh,
Sunday.
right. Yeah. Sorry.
But qualifying is on Friday now, I think, or at least one qualifying.
Okay.
But a qualifying day for me is kind of wake up. I have all the protein shakes, protein bars, electrolytes, all that stuff. Eat a good breakfast. Usually like 6:37. Get up early and get to the track straight away in the engineers debrief. Have a meeting with the team, and then just go through either the stuff that they know from before, if it's before practice or if it's before qualifying, what we did yesterday and what we can do better. And then so that's like 8:39, and then like an hour before the session, do some visualization, just some, like if it's a qualifying lap, how it's going to feel, and kind of visualize, because it really helps to get, you've already done, let's say 20 laps before you do one lap. If you visualize,
So you just sit with your eyes closed and you'll just go through the whole lap in your head?
Yeah. And then go do a warm-up, skipping rope, bands, push-ups, stuff like that, and hop straight in the car and go out for qualifying.
Does it always take like a minute once you get in the car to like just properly warm up, or you feel like once you get in and start driving,
if you don't warm up, then yes.
Yeah.
But if you go and do a
like
warm
some
up
movement and
before,
stuff before?
then it's okay, yeah. But if you don't warm up, even mentally, you're just not there, like how you should be.
Yeah. And these cars I'm assuming are still pretty intense on your neck.
They are, yeah, on the neck, but more shoulders.
Really?
Because this car is actually probably heavier than an F1 car, the wheel and stuff.
Really?
And like with the F1, not many people know, but with the F1 cars, the driver is able to choose how hard they want the brake pedal.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously with us, we have a hard brake pedal and move on.
And you gotta stand up on it. And
Yeah, but with the F1, they're not babied, but they have a lot for them that they can that the team does.
can like customize to however they want it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you share telemetry or share data from the other driver? Like if they're saying that one of our team drivers is braking at this point and getting more out of the lap, do they share that data with you, or is it like every man for himself?
No,
they share.
That's when we are a team. So when we go in straight away after the session, we have it's called session feedback, and so the whole team, every driver's engineer, every driver, chief engineer, and then the team manager, all go through. So the driver has 5 minutes to talk, each driver. And then so you go through it together, and then each driver moves off and looks at their own data.
Okay.
But when we're looking at our own data, it's against our teammates.
Oh, so you can see if they're like picking up tenths here or there. They can kind of go through and figure out why.
Yeah, we can see everything.
That's
we can see G's. We have all the videos, all the data of all the drivers.
And these debriefs are in English or French?
Well, that's the thing that I've been changing recently. At first, it was mostly English, but when I'm not talking French, whereas now, of course, I have to hear everything, so it's all English now.
Because you want to hear the feedback from the other drivers, you want to hear feedback from...
One of my drivers is good. David is quite good with speaking English, because he's probably the best at English. He can speak English, French, Italian, Spanish, so he's good with English. My other, Isaac, he kind of speaks English and then moves off to French, like randomly. And you kind of have to...
How old are your
bring him back.
teammates?
Hadrian is my age. Isaac half a year younger, I think.
Oh, okay. So all kind of close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hadrian has some. What was it? No, it just seems to be like they talk about him a lot as well. He's quite up and coming, I guess. So you raced him before?
Yeah, I raced him before.
Yeah.
He did French F4.
Right.
And then it's his second season in this championship.
Okay.
So I think that's probably the commentator knows him from last year.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Who are the top 5 rivals, do you think, or who have the biggest chance in this? Besides yourself, obviously.
I think, well, the drivers, I'd say Prema, all 3
The
drivers.
team, yeah.
Prema, my teammates, and Arden.
Those are the top 3
Those
teams.
are the top 3 teams, and I think those are the top 6 drivers
Top-
as well.
yeah.
Top 9 drivers.
Top 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course there's a few from other teams, but I think Prema, my team, and Arden are doing the best job so far.
Okay.
So I just want to bounce back real quickly to like the weekend sessions. Do you guys I guess in practice, are you trying different things or setups or whatever, or is it all kind of like you're just going out and trying to just drive?
No, well, in practice, Imola, we had official testing there, so we found some stuff to work on for the race. So we would have gone into FP1 with 2 cars. We were meant to have 4, but my other teammate, that's a girl, she got injured. But we had 2 cars with one setup, 1 car with the one that we want to go, that we think is better, and then for FP2 swap it around, and then for qualifying we all have the same car.
Same setup.
Yeah, unless obviously one driver wants something different. But yeah, we have different setups for practice, and we try a few things. The main thing with this championship is there's not enough tires for how many sessions you have. So we have 1 set of new for the 2 practice sessions, so 1 set in general. So
And you don't have varying compounds like F1, right? You're just running 1 tire.
1 tire, yeah. So we kind of have to save tires so we don't go out so much. Yeah.
So you're restricted by how many laps you can do as well.
With the tires, yeah.
Right.
Would you say your driving style suits the tires in terms of the way you drive compared to anybody else?
Every car is really different.
Okay.
So you're always having to move around your driving style. But I've always been a late breaker, like I said. So I think it does help on some track. Like high speed corners is where I've struggled a little bit compared to my teammates, just because I think it's more because I went up and down, whereas they've just gone from F4 up to this, or 2 years of this. So the high speed stuff is where I'm struggling most, but all the slow speed stuff I'm quicker
right.
than them so far.
Interesting.
All the medium and slow speed stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Did you know when you signed on to the Alpine Championship that it would be on the F1 calendar, or that was just a bonus that
No,
came?
that was a bonus. I had no idea. Yeah.
It's pretty sick. I mean, but you're doing 3, and then I think you move on to support a different.
Yeah, but I do think
championship.
it would be better without the F1. Of course, it's cool to see the F1 cars around the track and kind of be at the event with them. But like I said, with the telemetry and all that on the pits,
It's a bit of a pain.
yeah, the F1 guys take it away. Whereas when we're by ourselves, we'll have all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of finding space on the track and qualifying and stuff like that, it'll be a lot better without the F1.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't even think like that. I just, because I don't know. I just was
Yeah,
like, oh,
because you
sick.
see-
Like they're following F1, like they're on the F1 weekend. You just assume it's going to be better.
No, yeah.
Not that it's worse.
Yeah, because you see I think it was on the F1 app or the YouTube because we watched it, but they're all like crouched in the middle of like the pit lane of the F1. Just the team is crouched down, like looking at like just one screen.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
It is kind of funny.
Right. So Monaco, you're looking forward to obviously, which is one of the big ones. Where else do you go after that? I don't know if you're
Power
skipping.
Card.
Which you've been to before.
Yeah, Magello I've been to. And then we go to Zandvoort.
That's
Right,
never
which
been
is
there.
right.
Never
Well,
been
nobody's
there.
been there.
No one.
No one's been there.
Dude.
So that's it. You got 2 tracks this year that'll be fresh for everybody.
Yeah.
Monaco and Zandvoort.
And Zandvoort, oh my God, you gotta
That's
let
a
us
pretty
know
cool
how that
track.
bank is.
Yeah, that bank looks wild.
Yeah,
That
I've
looks
actually
sick.
never seen the track.
What,
That
ever?
sounds bad, but yeah.
Like even on YouTube.
You ever
or
seen the
nothing?
Verstappen
Well,
lap? What, you
I
seen,
don't.
like, the-
If I was to go there now, I don't know what corners from what corners.
Oh, right.
But of course, I'll go through that before.
You got 100 hours in the sim.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks wild.
Is that your last race of the season? It ends
No,
there?
Monza, ends at Monza.
Oh, well, what a way to end.
So you'll,
Yeah.
yeah. So you've
Another
never got...
impossible to overtake track.
Monza?
No, not really
it's-
actually.
It's so it'll be the best one for overtaking.
Out of it all?
Yeah,
Really?
just because when you run so low downforce, because there's such long straights.
Yeah.
Then the dirty air doesn't affect the car as much.
Oh, so you can get a lot closer. And
you can get
fair
closer,
enough.
and then
I guess they have some big braking zones anyway as well.
Yeah, Monza's, I think in the world probably Monza's the best overtaking track.
Interesting.
Like in an F4 car, it's
Speed.
impossible to lead for the whole race.
Because your cars just draft and you fly past.
In our car, it might be a bit harder to overtake, but for sure there'll be a lot of overtaking at Monza.
Sick.
That's good.
Might make it exciting coming down to the end.
Coming down to the end, whoever.
I know. I think in the other F3 types of F3, they do the Macau GP. Have you ever had the chance? You've never had the chance yet to do it, or?
So what FIF3? Well, not FIF3. I think it's its own race, of course. But there's a lot of guys that come over from every championship, F2,
Asia,
FIF3, Japan, where I am, come over and do it. So,
would you like to?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would love to do that. We'll see how it goes. If it will probably be a good warm up race for FIF3.
Yeah.
To
do it
at the end of the year to do it. But we'll see. Yeah, but it is a possibility.
That would be so cool.
That would be sick. It looks immense.
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
It's a crazy track.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that you might be doing Rally Barbados this year.
Yeah, well, I keep making jokes on my Instagram.
So you're the culprit.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm not sure when it is or if I'll be back.
It's in September.
If I'm back, I would definitely love to do it.
What are you going to drive?
Well,
probably the Skoda, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not driving the Citroen.
Citroen's a handful.
Yeah, I don't like front wheel drive cars.
I don't blame you.
Not for a first rally for sure.
Yeah. Especially one like that. That is like you'd want to spend some time in that before jumping into Rally Barbados doing it.
But if I was to do Rally Barbados, I would either not do nothing and just go and drift about and have fun.
Just
but if I'm going to race my uncle, I have to put in some practice. Because it's a lot different, and when someone like my uncle Stuart has been doing rallying for however many years, knows the roads in Barbados like nothing, and for me to go in, no matter how good I was to go in and beat him would be impossible. So I would have to get some
training. What's it like? Because I know you've driven the R5, right? I mean, what's it like coming? I know it's impossible to compare, but when you get into cars like that coming out of your race cars, do they feel like sloppy and like just everything's a lot slower?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everything just feels.
So it's almost easy to drive because it's just in a way because it's like slower, so much slower, and
even off the line.
Yeah, off the line it's still really slow compared to the. I don't know what we do in a 0 to 100, 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, the R5 car is not doing that.
No, it's not.
So it's quick. It's easy. I went from Euro Formula, and then I went to test an F4 car to help someone out, and I was like nearly driving at this with my.
It just felt like nothing.
Fingers.
That's crazy. So imagine a rally car was just be like a big, slow boat.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that you do.
Yeah, dude, rally bar. So seeing you do that would be a lot of fun. I would especially love it if you were able to get some like seat time first and then have a proper shot at it. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I would love to.
I want some takes on the F1 season while I have you.
I was just gonna say, let's talk about F1 for a second.
What do you think about this year so far?
Lewis domination.
Well, I don't know if you could call it domination.
I think it'll be his most successful season ever. For sure.
You think so?
Yeah, he's.
So you reckon no one's gonna take it to him? You don't think Max and them are gonna take it to him?
No chance.
No way.
He's too good. Max is at a very, very, very high level, but add another 3 varies to Lewis. He's getting better, and he's too good.
He actually is ridiculous. I'm not like I like Lewis, but I'm not like a Lewis fanboy freak out. But it is ridiculous how good he is. You can't deny. Like people I
don't deny. He's the greatest
in Barbados
of all time
in particular.
Right now.
In Barbados in particular, people trip balls over Lewis Hamilton. Right? Like people either absolutely love him and like would kiss the ground he walks on, or they hate him.
He's a little polarizing.
But you cannot deny that the man is unbelievably talented and is the best driver on your grid. He's also.
I don't think you could say that.
I think it's not possible to not say that. I think the main reason why people are saying all these stuff about F1 is because he's had the best car for however many years. It's a fact that this year he's not the best car at every race, but people see the Mercedes as the best car, so now it has to be the best car still. where the Red Bull is there.
Right.
Now.
So I agree with you there. I think, and I like how you said that, because I do think he's taken it to a different level. And as you're saying, it might be his most successful year. From a driving standpoint, maybe, because the cars are so similar. So you're going to start to see
they'll get
talent
closer.
against talent.
Yeah.
But again, Max put one on him, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
I like that the racing is closer. I think it's boring when Lewis just runs away and it's just everybody's fighting for
I think
second
it's
and
going to
third.
be boring this season then again.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll be closer. I hope they'll be closer.
I'll come back on after the season, but
Right.
for sure he is winning. The
Okay, so
championship.
let's just put Lewis aside a second and Max, if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the rest of the grid.
No, I think that Lewis is on his own. I think Max, Charles, Leclerc, probably maybe Russell and Norris. They're all in the same level. I think Max might be a little bit above, but
I'd agree with that.
What do you think about Daniel Ricciardo?
I think he's gonna be there with Lando at the end of the season.
Once he gets a bit more time?
It's definitely really tough to going from.
He's been in 3 cars in the last 4 years.
Going from a Renault to a McLaren is pretty much like going from, let's say, F4 to Euro Formula. It will be a completely different way of driving. Everything will be different about the car, about the team. So you can't really expect straight away for him to
be
get
there.
in.
He's got the skill though. He's my boy. I'm a huge Ricciardo fan. But
Biggest fanboy
I
of all
can't help
time.
it. Him and Lando.
I'm
I
on team
love
Lando
him.
all the way.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. He's put down some good performances. I hope they can keep it up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
He's
that
doing
car
really good.
looks legit, and they got pace.
Yeah,
And it's good to see Ferrari doing a little something too.
it is
I
nice.
I'm not the biggest Ferrari fan, but
No, me neither.
like,
But I like their drivers. I like both
absolutely.
their
I
drivers.
think they're both extremely talented. I like both
Yeah.
of them. My one thing, as I've said on this podcast many times, is all I want is for Checo to beat Max at every race ever. That's it.
I don't know if that will happen. Max is pretty
just
solid
cannot-
in that Red
I
Bull
just
car.
don't
But
like
I
him.
know what you mean. I know.
I respect that he's quick,
Yeah.
but I don't like him as a person. Not
Did
that I
you,
know him, but
No, I don't know him personally, but I hate him.
yeah, pretty much.
Do you have a thought on that Bottas and Russell crash? Did you see that?
Yeah, it's Russell's fault.
100%.
1,000,000%.
A
Russell's
million
fault.
percent.
Yeah,
It was a stupid move.
it was
A dangerous
when
move.
you're
He had
driving-
space.
Yeah, but when
Yeah,
you're,
but it was
when
wet.
you're driving that that quick, that kink at Imola, it's kind of like you do it yourself when driving. You don't think about that there is a kink. So I think when he went to overtake Bottas, he tried to leave a little bit of a margin in case Bottas didn't see him, and just misjudged it and just drove on the grass. So it was. I don't think it was a dangerous move. It's just he misjudged how much of a gap he actually gave to Bottas.
Yeah.
Because even on the radio, if he knew that he gave that much gap, like if he watched the replay and then he would not have said that radio message.
Yeah.
So I think it's because he, in himself, when you're driving, everything happens so fast that he thought that Bottas, they were this close.
Bottas
He
squeezed
moved
in.
on him.
Yeah. Which
But
I
he
can
didn't.
understand, but it was his fault for sure.
It's gotta be hard though. That's why, like, this pisses me off sometimes with like the media on like with F1 because I think you get like I can only imagine. Obviously, you have all this adrenaline flowing in the car, especially if you just come off like a 200-mile-an-hour accident.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna say some shit
you
you
mean
probably
the,
normally. Like your
yeah,
head
yeah.
is not on good.
Sure.
Like you've just flew off the fucking
You
track
mean
into
with
a wall.
the handbag?
Yeah, and like this, like obviously, like you're not in like a clear headspace
Yeah.
after having something like that happen, and I think it's just unfortunate sometimes. Okay, obviously, like drivers can try their best to react appropriately, but you are not going to be able to control your emotions all the time, and you're going to say and do things you're obviously going to regret. But the media, I just find.
What
I
he
don't know, I
was-
thought they were. I'm not saying that how Russell reacted is right, but I just think that people were like harder on him and just like. Just chill out, guys. Like the men just crashed at 200 miles an hour. It's okay for both of them to be pissed off and say some shit.
He's probably just upset because Bottas is in his seat because Bottas shouldn't be
that's what
anywhere
it
near this car right now.
Everything about it was probably furious. Like he was furious. Bottas should not be that far back.
Yeah.
He was overtaking Bottas for points, which meant
I think he was making a point about that too, by the way.
Yeah, I
You know
think so
right?
too.
What's happened to him? Bottas seems like
I don't think he's gonna worse. Hamilton's just getting better, honestly. I don't think the Mercedes is as good as the Red Bull this year.
So you think Red Bull's the best car in the grid?
Yeah. Well, they've always been the best car under braking and the slow speed corners. I think now they're with the engine being better.
Yeah.
They're now there or above Mercedes.
I could agree. I mean, never discount Mercedes, but I think it's fair right now.
Well, we'll see. I think so too. It's a lot more fair than
And
it
we
was.
have Portimao this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Wait, today's Friday.
Yeah, free practice happened already.
Yeah.
You got some.
I didn't check the results, to be honest.
Oh.
We can peep here now quickly. But I want to ask, did you see the pictures, last F1 thing quickly? Did you see the pictures of the Mercedes on the 18-inch Pirellis?
Yeah.
Yes.
That looks sick, dude.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
looks sick on the
It's gonna
bigger
be
tire, on the
interesting.
bigger wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how different it'll make the car behave.
We don't
but-
like F2
I don't
cars.
think
And
it-
F2
yeah.
cars look good, and I think they look real
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of a difference they'll make, but they do look good for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited about the new F1 regulations coming up? You think it'll be positive, negative? Do you have an opinion on them?
Well,
With the-
I support, like, I watch F1 and I'm into it. But those type of stuff, I don't think really the drivers, they say in the media, they will say that they care, but they're just there to
They
do a
don't
job.
care.
So
Yeah.
they don't actually care what happens. It's more the fans that are making a big deal out of it.
Right.
But I do think it's a good, you need to try stuff. If you keep F1 the same for 100 years, what's the fun?
Yeah, and as somebody that's actually done, I know it's not reverse grid, but you've done reverse grids before. How was it for you? Did you always find it as a challenge? Was it exciting to you as a driver, or was it like a
or is it
massive pain in the
frustrating?
ass?
Yeah, well, if you're 10th grade, like if you're in a McLaren, you would, or if you're in a Williams or
Yeah.
something like that, you would love it. But if you're in a Mercedes, that's the worst thing that you can have. Have a reverse grid. Like when I was winning in F4, the worst, like every weekend having to do a reverse grid race was just really annoying. So it depends on what team you're in and
Yeah,
where
that's
you're at
fair.
on the grid.
But I mean, what we love to see is Lewis charging through the field.
We
What
like
love
to see
is
anyone
Checo-
charging through the
Checo-
field,
right?
right? Like any charge through the field is exciting. Last year, Monza was one of the best, most exciting races to watch because it was just an enormous shit show of accidents and crashes that ended up in essentially a reverse grid.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
it was
epic.
sick. And and Gasly, brought home a win.
Yeah, but for the drivers, it's
Great for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Lewis, you hear Lewis always saying that he's happy that Max is close and he wants to fight, but
There's no way, right? He's just saying
he
that.
wants to win it by 100 seconds.
Yeah,
he's
just saying that.
They're
You
all
reckon?
just saying stuff in the media. The F1 guys, they're all just saying what the media wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because Lewis, he wouldn't be a 7-time world champion if he had that mindset.
Yeah.
He wants to win races by
You
100.
just want to dominate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best thing he can do. But yeah, he's just too good.
The only one that speaks his mind or doesn't speak his mind is Kimmy.
Kimmy's
Best.
the best.
He doesn't
He's
care.
the-
He
just
he
doesn't
doesn't
care.
give a shit about anything. He just is.
I mean, he's just.
I got practice results here. So Bottas went fastest, followed Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Norris, Sainz, Ocon.
Probably doing long stints. Or
Both
I don't even care about practice. It
No,
was
because-
Bottas
No.
was like 2/10 faster than Verstappen.
Yeah,
This doesn't
it-
matter.
it doesn't matter.
The most impressive thing about Lewis is he's in 5th now, and that's probably not true, but a lot of the time he can just be slow in practice, genuinely slow, because most of the time, like the team are trying different stuff, but
Yeah.
the driver's always pushing. So they're always pushing their hardest. So he can go from, let's say, half a second off in the 3 practice sessions,
And then just pull
half
out
a
some
second off in
magic.
Q1, half a second off in
Yeah.
Q2, and then pole in Q3. And for someone to do that is just crazy, insane.
I don't know how he does it. It's frustrating because every time I think someone else is going to get a pull, this guy just jumps on top.
He is a robot. I've obviously not seen his data and stuff like that, but I've never seen a driver so consistent over so many years,
true.
so many races.
I mean, I think
He doesn't make a mistake. You rarely see
No.
Lewis make a except
when you
maybe
hear,
last
I listen
weekend.
to F1 does a good a podcast behind the paddock or something like that. I can't even
The
remember
on
what it's
the grid?
called. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I listened to the one with
Julian
the,
Palmer,
I listened
I
to the
think
one
that's
with the guys from Mercedes, who were with Braun and then came through into Mercedes now.
Braun GP.
Yeah. And they were talking about Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher, and they were saying that outside of how Michael behaves as like part of the team, like Lewis is probably the closest one to him now, in terms of how like his level of consistency, how much attention he pays to what the team is doing, how much input, and it was just really interesting to hear those two, like to have those two compared, because Schumacher is
I know he was
insane. Like he was absolutely insane, and he was doing what Hamilton did.
yeah.
Like that's the level that they're at. I mean, those two names. I mean, obviously you have the greats like Senna and stuff too, but Hamilton is going to go down or is in history with them.
He will be if he wins this year.
No, even if he doesn't, like I mean, he's there with them now. You can't.
He's won more races than anybody.
Yeah.
And the same amount of championships. But if you think about it, like the thing that annoys me the most is when people say, "Oh, he has such good luck." Like let's say at Imola when he went off, "Oh, he barely touches the barrier and then he's able to get out." But stuff like that is, who would have thought to reverse out the gravel? Not one person on the grid other than him would have done that.
He would have tried to go forward and dug themselves.
Forward, taking 5 minutes trying to get it in reverse, and he just said, "Oh, I can get out back through my tracks, back out."
Yeah.
And so he creates his own luck. And when people come and say that he has luck, is like he has to be doing something right for 7 years to be winning.
Yeah, you can't. You know, it's not a mistake. You don't do it by luck. Not 7 times.
He made a mistake to get in the gravel, of course.
Yeah.
But to get out of that gravel, I think 19 out of 20 drivers would have gotten beached in the gravel.
I won't lie, I was hoping that Lando was going to be able to hold him off, but there was no chance.
Me too. But yeah, you know, once to get close enough, you can't.
It was a good race. It was a good race, and I think this weekend, who you got for this weekend? You got some predictions? We're gonna ask.
Yeah, you wanna drop some predictions?
Come, Jeremy, you start.
No, why I start? Yeah. I started last time. I was way off. All right. You want me to go over you want me to give P1 results again, and then I'll tell you what I think qualifying. You want qualifying top 3 in race? Top 3 qualifying and the top 3 for your race? All right. I'm going to go, I think, qualifying, I'm going to go Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez.
Which was mine last time, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
That's what I think that's qualifying. Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez. You do your qualifying.
My qualifying is Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas.
What are you going to do now? You don't have a lot more options. You got to copy one of the two of us.
Well, I would have gone that way, I think.
Yeah, Hamilton.
I don't know anything about, where are we? We're in Portimao.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back to last year. I can't remember what happened.
Hamilton won.
You did.
By a long way.
You did. But they're closer now, so.
Hamilton won.
Yeah.
Bottas second, Verstappen third.
Oh, you're going to Mercedes 1-2 qualifying, and then what about race finish? Who's going to win? Who's your podium?
Verstappen to win.
Verstappen.
Lando in second.
Zane is this guy.
Leclerc in third.
You're just trolling.
Right, that's why I
All right,
think
okay.
something's going to happen.
Go again. Who is it?
Verstappen.
Lando,
Leclerc.
and Leclerc. This guy called the last race, right? He didn't put a Mercedes on the podium. Yeah. And during the race, when both Mercedes had accident, Hamilton flew off the track and Bottas crashed. Yeah. I was like, when he called it, I was like, oh, bullshit. There's no way Mercedes is not going to be on the podium. And then both crashed. I was like, oh, shit, James was right.
Yeah. Mine's outlandish. Right. But I'm going for it.
I'm assuming you put Hamilton to win your race.
Yeah, Hamilton win. Verstappen second. Perez third.
Okay.
Bottas will go backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Him and Mazepin will have a little spin off.
What's going on with that? Mazepin.
I don't want to troll the guy.
Well, once you get into F1, it's very little about driving at that point. There's so many more things to focus on, and yeah, he clearly isn't good enough for F1. But to get to F1, you can have as much money as you, but he still did half decent. He still did half decent in F2, and he's still an amazing driver. It's just the level that those guys are racing at. I don't think anyone else could do it. Well, maybe, of course, people can do what Mazepin and Latifi and those guys are doing, but the level in F1 is just crazy. What he's trying to do and not able to do, it's really tough for them, for sure. So he's spinning every session, which is quite funny for me even.
Right. I mean, I'm fine with it being tough, but I mean, at least try to keep it on the track.
I don't think he's spinning on purpose. I mean, I think you take. As he's saying, right? You can't take for granted how difficult. I mean, these guys make Lando and
apparently that car is very difficult.
And Bottas, all them make it look easy, but that shit ain't easy.
No,
the car is a lot also. So like, look at George, how well he did coming into. I would love to see George and Lewis as teammates next year.
George would get obliterated.
No. I would love to see though.
I would.
I don't think. I think if Verstappen got in Hamilton's car, he would win let's say, I'd say 5 out of 20 races. But if George got in that car, he would win 0. He's at the level, he's at a very high level for what he's done, like how many years he's been in F1 and But when you're someone like Hamilton in F1 for how many 12, 13 years now, you can't compete with it.
It would be interesting to see him against a teammate that had the Bottas has the ability, but you can't get anywhere close to him, I guess, is the point.
But if you look at Bottas, he's won everything in his junior career. He won F4, he won F3, I think he won F2. He goes to, he beat Massa. Who else did he beat? He beat, I think it was just Massa, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
so he won everything. He beat Massa, gets in with Hamilton, gets killed. Rosberg won lots in his junior career, gets in with Hamilton, gets beaten. And everyone says, oh, he beat Hamilton, but come on, Hamilton broke down like 5 or 6 times in that season. So I just think that, and he's just getting better. I don't think anyone can hop in with Hamilton now and beat him.
That's probably why Rosberg just up and retired.
And
right
I think
after.
the best thing about Hamilton is he could, like, let's say Albon, Perez, Gasly, even Ricciardo a little bit. He pushed Verstappen, but they've all gotten beaten by Verstappen. I think if
Ricardo
Hamilton
was definitely the closest
for sure.
to like pushing him. The other guys didn't get nearly as close.
No,
Ricardo
but I think
was on it.
if Hamilton got in any car on the grid, he'd beat his teammate. I think he's just the most adaptable driver on the grid.
Interesting.
Because even if you look at Imola, he had front wing damage from lap 1, and he struggled initially, but straight away he got back up to pace.
Figured it out, and
He's just so adaptable to anything.
It's true.
And I think just again, like, not to drag this on, but just we take for granted watching it on TV, but like, you have no idea how different that would make the car feel.
I know, yeah.
And how
it's true.
I mean, I can only imagine how it would be.
But he's the recipe for success is he's done it too much and people get sick of it. So I think that people don't, they underestimate him, or we take him for granted is what
I think
is what I think.
Yeah.
He is a robot. I've never seen anyone in any. Obviously, they have the greats of every sport, but I don't know if there's been any sport that someone has dominated so much for
Tom
so
Brady.
long.
Probably it's another one.
Yeah,
But
Tom Brady.
same. I know what you mean. There's not a
But
lot.
he's
Like
at that
Wayne
level.
Gretzky.
It's a generational
Yeah.
talent.
He's at that level, yeah.
Yeah, he is. No, undoubtedly. No one can argue. No one can bring valid argument against that.
You cannot
People
like
can
him.
argue it. Yeah,
You cannot
Yeah,
like
of
him for
course.
winning, of course, because you want to you want to watch something on TV that's funny, like it's fun to watch. But from when you look at it from who's the best and who's the greatest and who's doing the best,
Oh yeah,
there's
I
no other
don't
question,
doubt. I don't
no
doubt.
other person in question.
I don't doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome. Any further questions you got?
No, man.
Wrap up.
Let's thank Zane for his time and.
Yeah, Zane, as always, thank you so much for passing through. We're real glad to do this one. We want to keep in touch and make sure that you're doing all right out, in Europe and other places.
Yeah.
Sure. We certainly appreciate the time. Thank you, and the
Anything
best
you
of
wanna-
luck.
Yeah, of course. Best of luck. Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Anything you want to plug or shout out?
Just
before?
like to thank all my sponsors: Rock Hard Cement, Bushy Pop Barbados, Alpine Stars, MJet FBO, the team RSGP, ADD Management. Just like thank all of them because I wouldn't be where I am without them. And yeah, thanks for having me. And
of course.
I'll let you know after Hamilton wins
yeah.
this race and the season
gonna-
and next season.
Well, you heard it here first,
Yes,
folks.
people. Thanks again, Zane. Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, Zane. Cool.
Thanks a lot.